Greetings and assalamu alaikum to all the viewers. Today I'm here with my third book, and tonight the timing is now like 12:40, 35, something like that, and 22nd January 2020. So this is my third book. I've just finished it, and the name it's quite French, Le Grande Crime de l'Histoire, if I'm not wrong, and the author is Pierre Bellemare Francois Nahmias. Of course, I don't read French, and this is a translation. However, I just a couple of sentences I can read, like short stories and these sort of things in French. However, the book is about if I translate it into English, it means the great crimes in the history. And of course, this book is about the histories and the big crimes occurred in the history and is mentioned in the book. As the book is French and the author is also French, so most of the events mentioned is from France history. And Mr. Pierre Bellemare actually collected these kind of things. And most of them maybe you have heard and maybe you haven't. I've just have a quick name of the events, and these events actually happen in the history, and sometimes injustice happened for this, and most of the time is not. So it is mentioned in the book. It was very well written, although I'm reading the translation but not in the original French. But in fact the book is very good. I liked it. I really enjoyed the book. And in the book, the events, the way it is written, it's very smooth. And overall, I really liked it. From 10, I give 9.7, as the book is quite very interesting and fascinating and gives you a lot of knowledge about history. And some of them you may even haven't heard. So I just give you some review about the books, about the characters, like starting with the Gaspar Rosé. It was a German story that actually happened. A person, an orphan, was left away, and it was a mystery. His whole life was a mystery, and nobody knew who he was and how he died, and there are so many questions about it. Was so many mysteries, and it started with him. Then Dreyfus, if the spelling is right, this is the French soldier who was wrongly condemned of treason and went to jail almost 4 years, and after he came out they found that he was innocent. And still nowadays in our courts and different courts of USA or many other countries, people who are in the prison for no crimes, but actually they're innocent. There are people like this as well. So this is one of the stories. Then we have Sacco and Vanzetti. These were two Italian American who were living in the probation, probably in the around World War I, early 20th century, living in the USA, and they were charged with the crime of a murder. Now still nobody can say that they were innocent or they were actually criminals. But the governor later on, it was actually say that one of them was criminal, one of them was not. So it was again a trial. They went to the trial and they were executed. The fourth was Leonardo Concini, Damien, Raoul, and V.L. Rosenberg's. And actually I'm just saying quite fast. Like Damien was a person who wanted to assassinate the king of France and almost succeeded, but the king survived. Then they killed him. They killed Damien, and very cruel manner they killed him, like they executed him. First they hammered his legs and hands, and then they butchered him. He's from bottom to top. They butchered his skin and everything, and when it wounded, they put some oil or maybe some hot things on his wounds so that he suffered. And then they executed him in a very harsh manner, and still people believe that it was actually maybe he attempted, but that wasn't very cruel, and it should have been even executed because he didn't kill anybody. And like something like that. Then Putio was a person who was a doctor, and during World War II he was actually helping with the Germans to capture the Jew, although he was actually trying to help, showing his face. He wanted to try to help the Jews, but actually he was killing them, and he killed so many Jews. And it was a quite strange story about this Putio. It's similar to Rasputin. Again, Rasputin is also mentioned here, a famous figure in the era of like 1906 to 1916. He was in the royal family of Russia, and he was very influential in that time, Grigory Rasputin, and it was similar to Putio, very influential. It was very, had some mesmerism, like if you just look at it, they will control you, something like that. So it's something like that. Then the story about Pancho Villa is quite famous. So many movies came. Pancho Villa, a famous Mexican outlaw who fought against the government of Mexico. And then we have Folde, a person who was assassinated and nobody knew who did it. And some people were captured, including his stepson, and they all were executed. And later on they found out that maybe they were innocent. And it was it was a crime that you are capturing somebody, then you execute it, then at the end you said that was innocent. So that's the crime that's mentioned by Mr. Pierre. And at the end, there is a story of Gilles de Rais. Gilles de Rais. It's French, I don't know how it's pronounced. And this guy had so many crimes. He was a serial murderer of children. And that was a very, very, when I read, actually it was very precise written in this book, and when I searched independently, I found that the crimes is much more than that. Even you cannot write it down. It was so brutal, and so many things. He actually used to capture children. He was a very rich guy. He used to buy them actually, and then as a servant, then one by one he used to kill them. Mostly boys, little boys, and maybe sometimes rape them. And most of the time raping them. Then after raping, killing them. And then having the skull or bones with them with his room. So that was it, and he was the guy that was very cruel, and at the end he was just treated like a saint. The people decided, okay, this guy was not, although he was executed, but he was about to burn his body, but they didn't. They thought this guy is one. But at the end, at the French Revolution, just 100 years, 200, 300 years later, they brought out his corpse and burned it, or maybe whatever they did. And maybe the justice was served that time. And Gilles de Rais actually was also accompanied by Joan of Arc, a very famous figure who was actually involved in the 100 Years' Wars between France and England. And Joan of Arc was quite a young woman who actually, they thought that she's a saint. I don't know, probably not, but she was a quiet woman, and it was very influential as well, but it was captured by English army and it was executed as well. So overall, if you ask me about this book, I really liked it. I enjoyed it, every bit of it. Although it was long, but I really liked all of the stories that I mentioned. Some of them I even haven't heard, although I read a lot of stuff about history, but some of the stories I haven't heard. The Grand Crimes de la History, and you can the Grand Crimes in the History, the English translation, Pierr Bellemare. And overall, I highly recommend this book. If you find it, if you don't, either soft copy or hard copy, buy it or download it and read it, and it's quite beneficial, especially for those who like histories or authentic histories. Although I cannot confirm the authenticity of all of them, maybe it is, but actually it is mentioned everywhere, and you can find the resources other places as well. Overall, I give you a very, very great recommendation for this book. That's it from my side. Thank you.